Okay, I see you in here. Give me a moment, guys. All right, let me go ahead and get started. I have a few announcements to make. There were some changes made to some of my social media that I wanted to make clear, give people some time to come into the live that were meaning to join. So I'm probably going to end up making these announcements again mid live so that other people can hear them. But as y'all know, I always got my notes here. That's what I do. So I kind of like this angle from before because it gives me space to not feel so crowded when I am working. And it is what it is. And I do apologize. It never fails, no matter what time of day, whether I'm going live or about to record a video, it never fails. These dogs start barking. So I do apologize. My neighbors on both sides have dogs. And for some reason, the moment I press go live, they are going crazy. They have been quiet for hours, I guarantee. And then as soon as I press the record button, that's when they start going. So I do apologize for that. But let me get started. Welcome, everybody. All right. So once again, my name is Tiffany Talley, so let me briefly introduce myself. I am a certified wellness coach, personal trainer, and energy healer. By birth, I am an oracle prophetess and a natural healer. If you have been with me for a while, you know that I go live Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. It has been around 5:30ish. We're kind of playing with the time to see which one works best. It looks like 5:30 is working out the best. And that's what we're going to keep. But really quick, I have a few announcements because there have been some slight changes, and I want you guys to know. So the first announcement that I always make is the stuff that's in the description. Is I do $5 oracle reading questions on Wednesdays and Fridays. All right, up to 2 questions, so up to $10 on Wednesdays and Fridays. You can inbox me, but the best way to reach me is going to my email. That's the best way. So my email is healthypassiontiff@gmail.com. Healthypassiontiff@gmail.com. Right? And when you do that, you can do book a 30-minute complimentary consultation with me. Or did I bring you up? I'm sorry, honey. Go ahead and mute your mic. I'm gonna try to get you off of here. I'm sorry, Bianca. I am, like I said, you can do a 30-minute consultation with me. You can book personal training sessions. You can book energy healing sessions as well as oracle readings. All of my services are available online unless the client and I decide to meet in person. I went online so that I could have access to more people and I wouldn't be dragging weights and stuff across town. That was HE double hockey sticks when I did that for about a year and a half, and I did not like it, so I went online completely. So that's what we do. Now, I do not do sales. So I offer the $5 oracle reading questions on Wednesdays and Fridays because I don't do sales. My 30-minute oracle reading sessions are going to be $65. My 1 hour oracle reading sessions are going to be $125. The reason why I charge the way that I do is because I got a lot of skin in the game. I've been doing holistic health for over 20 years. I have been a wellness coach for over 10 years, and a personal trainer for 9 years, and doing holistic diet for about 18 years. So I got a lot of skin in the game, a lot of experience. However, when I do things like the energy healings and the oracle readings, I get really drained. I can only do maximum 3 a day. So I have to charge because I do this full time. I have to make enough money to proceed. So that's why I don't do the sales. But because of the economy, I did allow the $5 questions on those 2 days. That is why. All right. So now that we've gotten that straight, I want to I want to announce that I have a new link tree. So on my link tree, it's going to be on all my social medias now. So that means that my TikTok, my Facebook, and my Instagram are going to be put together. So when I tell you guys, hey, go check out something on my YouTube channel, it's easy to get to. So that link tree is there. My oldest son set it up for me, so it's really good. It's on all of those. And another big announcement is that my YouTube channel has an easier name. It used to be Healthy Passion for Life, Tiffany Talley, or something like that. But I changed it to where it matches everything else and it's easier to remember. So the new name is Healthy Passion with Tiff. So y'all are used to me saying that anyway, so it actually works out. Let me see if I can take you off of here. Disconnect. There you go. All right, baby. Sorry about that. I got you off. So that's the new YouTube videos, so you guys can find it easier. Healthy Passion with Tiff, Tiff. All right. So now that we got the announcements out the way, let's get started. Y'all know I got my notes. All right. So the last two videos were about well, not, I did a video and not a live, but I was saying that God's people are resting. Leave them alone. We're working out our own salvation. If you did not catch that, I have it posted on TikTok as well as YouTube. So to move forward, the next message today is only ungodly soul ties will cut you from your salvation. So I am talking to the people who are within the covenant, who follow the laws and commandments, who are working out their own salvation. Yah's people, who I call Yahuwah, is the God of the Bible, who the world calls God, but we lovingly, nicknamingly call him Yah, so I'll say Yah's people, for short for Yahuwah. And those people there, if we keep ungodly soul ties, we'll be cut off from salvation. So remove them now. Don't be working on it later. Just go ahead and cut ties if you must. All right. So this is a very touchy subject. I talk about this in great detail on my YouTube channel. I have about 3 to 4 years of over 300 videos of speaking about spiritual life in detail. And this is something that I cover extensively, especially in my Chosen One series. All right. So I'm going to speak on it briefly, mainly in the concept of family, because that's the one that most people have the most issues with. When I come across people in passing, when I work with my clients, it's the family that's the hardest one to kind of either break away from or to accept. But like I said, an ungodly soul tie can be with a family member, a friend, or even a lover. You can have an ungodly soul tie with anybody. All right. So let's start with it for families. All right. So family ungodly soul ties. Most chosen ones are people who are called. That's all a chosen one is, the person who was called and then answered the call. You've heard the saying where it says many are called but few are chosen. A lot of people are called but they don't answer the call. So they don't go to the part of actually actively living the life of the chosen one. But for the ones that do, most of us are born into chaos. So we're most likely, one thing that you'll find that we all have in common is we're born into tumultuous families, right? Chaotic families or chaotic situations, right? That are not normally normal situations. They're usually a chaotic type situation, right? Even if it's something as simple as let me see, your family being a totally different religion of what you believe in or something like that. Something that simple can cause turmoil in a family. So we're usually born into chaotic situations, or a better word would be averse situations, right? I get nervous, guys. So if I start talking fast, just say, hey, slow down. I can see your comments here, okay? So let's get it going from there. So we're born into chaotic situations. So most of us have heard of family curses. And on that topic, you get a lot of videos about that, but I'm going to keep it simple. So family curses are passed down from generation to generation. Um, most people don't realize that there are curses that are passed down. Thanks, Mama. Most people don't realize that curses are passed down. They either think of great examples of family curses that people don't think of: sickness in the family. So you might have cancer or diabetes passed down in your family, and people think that it's genetic, but it's not necessarily genetic. It is a curse passed down from generation to generation. 9 times out of 10, the family has ate a certain way, and that's just the way they've done things, and it causes those type of sicknesses, especially like diabetes. And so therefore it's more of a diet thing versus we're just genetically disposed to have that certain disease. So that is a form of a family curse, right? So, and the reason why I know for a fact in my own situation is there are certain genetic dispositions on both sides of my family. And if it was genetic, me and my sons would have it too. And we don't. So a lot of times it's something that's passed down as a form of a curse or as a form of a way that needs to be changed or healed within a family. Okay. So that's an example of a passed down curse. So these get passed from generation to generation due to the sins of the mothers and fathers. So we've heard in scripture where it says the sins of your forefathers. Yes, we do have to deal with those situations, but we do pay for the sins of those. But that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about closer in your generation to where it's like your mother, your father, your grandma, and your grandpa, and your great grandpa, and your great grandma. So kind of closer to your generation. So that's what I mean, your mothers and fathers, right? So it's due to sin in their lives or actions that they have taken, right? So that could be caused by anything. Anything can open a demonic door. So examples of that would be like witchcraft, adultery, whether they belong to a secret society that has them pledging to other gods, occults that have them pledging to other gods, or even saying that they're God and there is no God. Ancestor worship is a form of that, depending on how far they take it. Um, um, just certain practices within cultures can open demonic doors. And people think, well, I was born into this. This is my ancestry. This is how my ancestors have done things for hundreds of years. They don't realize that in certain situations, yes, it's a part of your family, but it does open demonic doors, right? And it's hard to kind of see that if you're born into it. Let's say you come from a family where it's a generation of witches. That's been in your family forever. Y'all don't see anything wrong with it. And that's just how y'all always done things. So that could be a demonic door. Or let's say there's ancestor worship, right? Now, there's nothing wrong with honoring your ancestors. All right? That's one thing, to honor them. However, it is another to worship them. And a lot of times it goes into the worship side, and that's where the Most High has a problem. Okay? And that's what it is. So it's certain things that open doors. And if you follow me on YouTube, I talk about this more in detail, but I'm going to bring it up here as well. Anytime that you have a door open to the demonic or the dark entities, that door gives them a legal right to attack or infiltrate or come into the family bloodline to wreak havoc. Everything is legalities when it comes to the spiritual realm. So think of it like this. If I'm in sin, then that gives Satan or demonic entities the right to either possess me, attack me, or use me, right? They have legal access to you because you are outside of the covenant. You are in sin. And what does covenant mean? Usually it's like, think of it as a house. We're in the covenant. We're following the laws and commandments, right? So when we sin, we come outside of the house. Now we're subjected to wind, weather, animals, wildlife, anything that can happen outside of the house, right? So the reason why we follow the laws and commandment is so that we can stay within the house, the shelter that the Most High provides, the protection that He provides in the house, right? So the moment we step out of that is when we are in open sin, okay? And open sin gives demonic entities the right to attack you. And like I said, or even if it continues, if it's perpetual, they can partially or fully possess a person. So everything is contracts. Even the Most High deals in contracts. So the law is, the Most High has it to where we all have what we call free will, right? So even the Most High does not come against our free will, because not only do we have free will, He also gave us dominion on the earth plane. So on the physical earth plane, mankind has dominion, meaning that we have authority to, if we're in right standing, we can command demonic spirits. We have authority over them, so there's no need to fear what we can command. Or if the Most High asks us to do something and as part of His will, we have the right to say no and do something else. He won't go against that because it's a legal contract and we have the right to go against the contract or stay within contract. So even the Most High doesn't go against free will. So I've talked about this extensively, but people have a hard time understanding it. But if you think about it in like law terms, like legal contracts, so you have demonic contracts and you have holy contracts. Standing covenant is a contract that you have with the Most High to follow the laws and commandments, to live life a certain way, to follow your heritage, to keep His holy days. That is a contract. All right. If you go outside of that and do any other thing, then you're in a contract with that other thing. Okay. So now that we have that clear, I know I go over it a lot, but people have a hard time understanding it. So I want to make sure I'm extensive when it comes to that. So any avenue can cause a legal ground to be broken and give an open door to an entity to infiltrate. All right. It could be anything, right? So legal ground for demonic entities to have access to every member in your family. And this is the part where people mess up. They think, well, if I do this sin and open a door to a demonic entity, it only affects me. That is not true. So what happens is, yes, it does affect you, but what you're not realizing is if you have a contract, there are clauses. And a lot of times when you are dealing with that ancient demonic being, which demonic just means intelligent, all right? People think that demons are dumb. They're not. They're very intelligent. So when you're dealing with that demonic ancient being, they're not going to tell you certain clauses within their contract. So if you hire them to do a certain thing, like if you want to do spell work against a person or to carry out a hex against a person or a love spell or something like that, if you hire them to do that, now you're in demonic covenant. You're in a contract with them. And what they love to do is add clauses to those contracts like, yes, I will curse this person for you, but now I want every firstborn in your family for up to 7 generations. So you're not just affecting yourself, you're affecting the firstborn of every generation to come. So everyone who has a child, that firstborn is affected. They won't live to be into a certain age because that demonic entity has in its clause, in its contract, to take that firstborn. Or it could be something like the women in your family will never get married. Or it could be the men in your family will never get married. Or it could be the men or women or whoever in your family dies at 30. They never live past that. So it's certain things where we think it's just something we notice in our family, like that's just the family way, but it's really a family curse. And it's due to someone in your bloodline doing something they had no business doing, not realizing. Sometimes they know. Sometimes they're really dark and demonic and they know and they just don't care. They want what they want. I see that with like the Kardashians. They know what they're doing. They just don't care. But in most cases, they don't know that they're harming the next generation. And after they're dead and gone, it's 7 generations that are affected by their actions. So that's why we must be careful how we interact and do things, right? So, like I said, any avenue can cause a demonic entity to have access to every family member, right? Now, you have family members who follow the laws and commandments. They're doing the best they can. They go to church every Sunday and they're still subject to the curses, right? They still have effects from the curses. What they don't realize is, even though they didn't do it, maybe not even their mom or dad did it. It could have been their grandmother, right? So that's why you have to go back. You have to go back into your family history and see what they were into, right? They could have been a part of an occult group. They could have been a part of a witch coven. They could have been all of those. Those are the things that you have to unsubscribe to, right? You have to denounce, unsubscribe, and that's how you break free from that. All right. So I mentioned before, my sons and I don't have the family curses because I had to really dig deep on both sides, my mom and my dad's side, and see what was in the last 2 to 3 generations that I can catch, right? And I had to denounce and come out from under that and repent from it, even though I didn't do it. And that's how we broke free. Now, most people don't think you have to do that, but that's what you have to do. So even if you follow the laws and commandments, you can still fall under that curse. So you have to go back. You have to research and see. A lot of times the family is going to keep it hush hush. They're not going to tell you. And a lot of times they don't even know. So you have to do your own research. I went back and I found a couple of things that were iffy. And that's what I did. And anything that I couldn't find, because some stuff goes back. You know, we got 7 generations. Anything that I couldn't find, I prayed. I prayed for the Most High to show me. That way I knew what to navigate through, right? So I had to break those curses, and that's why we're not suffering from a lot of the things that we see our family members suffering from. All right. So I got a lot off track. So I'm going to try to stay on track, but I really want you guys to understand what I'm saying. So let me continue. All right. So the culprits in the family that did that, let's say your grandmother and grandfather did some stuff they had no business doing. They had children. So that'll be your mom, your dad, your aunts, and your uncles, right? They may know about it, but they're not going to say anything. They might forget about it, or they don't even think about it. Or some of them might be involved in the same thing, but they keep it a hush-hush, right? Because they know there's 2 people. There's people who don't know and ignorantly pass it on. And then there's the ones that I'm talking about today, the ungodly soul ties, the ones that do know. And they try to keep it hush-hush so that they can feed that demonic entity. They don't care about their family. They don't care about who has to go. They're going to help the demonic entity get what it needs so they can get what they want. And those are the type of family members I'm talking about today. So the culprits are those who uphold the dark secrets of the family, will protect their darkness at all costs. These are family members that you see that sit back. They know everybody's business. They're constantly a busybody. They know what everybody has going on. They watch you from when you are a child to see where your gifts are, to see if you're stepping into your gifts, to see what direction you're going to. If it's anything that the Most High meant for you to go to, they're going to try to push you into another direction because they don't want you to reach your potential, because if you reach your potential, you'll get past the demonic curses. And if you get past the curses, the demonic entity won't be fed. So they protect those contracts with a passion. A lot of them do know. And if they don't know, eventually they do know and they still continue. So some of these family members, you'll see them, they'll constantly want to be like the head of the family, even if that's not their position. They'll want to be the head of the family. They want to be in cahoots. They want everyone to come to them, look up to them, to think of them as wise, or whatever the case may be. And a lot of times you'll see them purposely giving bad advice. You'll see them purposely speaking against someone's purpose. You'll see them purposely talking down to others in the family, like, you're not worth it, you're not good enough, you're never going to do you ain't going to be, those type of people. And you'll see them. They practice a lot of witchcraft. And witchcraft is not just spells and hocus pocus and altars. It's a lot of times it's speech, right? So they'll speak curses onto you, like, you'll never be anything, you're going to be just like your daddy, or you're going to go to jail just like your daddy, or something like that. If you've heard those type of things, those are the members of the family that I'm talking about. You watch those people. Stay away from those people, okay? Now, they could be any position. It could be your mom, dad, your grandmother, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, your siblings. It could be anybody. Those people that behave like that, and then the other family members that protect that person, watch out for all of them. Because a lot of times they do know about the demonic contract, and you're up for sacrifice. So you're the one that they want to offer up to the demonic entity. So you don't know, but they know. Okay? So, they protect that at all costs. They will attack you. They'll do witchcraft on you. They'll cause rumors about you. Like, they'll set rumors about you and say that you would live a certain way and you don't. It makes you look bad. I've had it so bad that my family was told that I was a crackhead prostitute, and anyone that knows me knows I am the exact opposite. I don't drink or do drugs, and I'm damn sure not a prostitute, right? But they believed that person because I don't know why they believed them, even though they knew me. But they will believe. And a lot of times, the person that told that lie, they're so good at lying that you wouldn't think that they would make something like that up. So it would be hard for them to not believe them. And then when you come to try to defend yourself, you look crazy, right? And that's usually how it works. So if you've dealt with narcissists, that's that type of setup where they have flying monkeys doing their bidding, and they'll say whatever they want about you. And by the time you even know about it and you try to defend yourself, you look crazy to the other people. So that's why in most cases, I talk about that on my channel as well. I don't even defend myself. If you want to believe that, great. I don't let it bother me, because I used to let it bother me, but I'd be like, you know what? It'll come out in the light eventually. Most High will clarify everything. And every single time it was clarified that what that person was saying was untrue, that they were a liar. So a lot of times I don't even try to defend myself, especially if it's like really ridiculous. Just save your energy. Because it'll play out the way it needs to. So they will even attempt, these members of the family, it's usually one, but it's sometimes two or three. All right. So they will even attempt to eliminate the chosen one. Now, I have to use the word eliminate on this page, but you know what I mean, right? So they will go so far. They will eliminate that chosen one that was sent through the bloodline to help actually set the spiritually captive free. So what's ironic is the person that I'm talking about, that's that person in the family that tries to hold everyone back and that protects that dark covenant. They know that you're sent to set the family free from the curses. However, they don't benefit from them being set free. They benefit from them being held spiritually captive, because that feeds that demonic entity. So in feeding and holding up their end of the contract, they get money, they get ease, they get contracts, they get all kinds of benefits. So it's in their best interest to keep that demonic entity happy and fed versus the whole family being set free and living a righteous life. So they benefit from that. That's why you'll see the person in the family, the so-called head of the family, the busybody of the family, they'll support the crackhead, but they won't support the college grad. You see what I'm saying? The reason why they do that is because they benefit off of that. They support that because they benefit off of that, right? They're feeding that demonic entity. They're holding up their part of the demonic contract so that they can get the perks of the demonic contract, right? So a lot of times when you see someone getting a blessing, a lot of times I want to know who you getting your blessings from, because the devil be blessing too. It's usually temporarily, but he be blessing too. So when they say, I want to thank God for this and this and that, you need to ask them what God, because I'm very bold in that I need to know who you talk about. So it is what it is. All right. So they'll even attempt to do that. And it's so ironic because they are actively becoming the next agents of darkness in the generations to come, right? And it doesn't matter what their relationship is to you. They can be your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your cousin, your aunt, your uncle. It doesn't matter who they are. They can be your grandparents. It doesn't matter. These are the people that are the closest to you, and it's probably the most hurtful when it's like your parents or your siblings, like immediate family. But these are the same people, that's your blood, in your bloodline, right? Your blood, that hurt you the most. And that's why it's necessary to detach. Even if it's for a period of time and you return, but in most cases we don't return. There's very rare cases where we return, because what happens is they'll have you for a certain amount of time, and if they decide not to change, the Most High will remove you from that situation and have you help strangers, because they're not going to change. So they'll have you for a good period of time. I think I was with my families up until my mid 20s. And then after that, I was told to move around. I stayed away for like 10 years. And then, like, I ain't been back. He keep telling me to stay separate, even though I'm around them. He doesn't want me to come back ever. So for some of us, it is like that. We're never going to come back around, right? So they'll never have the opportunity to learn from your testimony, to learn from your experience, and to set themselves free. When this happens, sometimes they do change, but they have to learn from your example versus having you there one on one. Because your family, what they'll do is they'll stalk you. They'll stalk all your social media. They'll watch you, but they'll never say anything to you, and the damn sure will never help you. But they'll watch you. That's what they will do. So now they're forced to learn by watching. They don't have access to you like others do, right? That healing energy, that wisdom that surpasses all understanding, the opportunity to understand complicated spiritual matters, all that, they won't have access to you. And once they realize that you cut them off and that they don't have access to you, they will become very angry. So you still need to stay away either way. All right. So it doesn't matter the relations to you. It's most helpful when it's like your parents or your siblings. Whoever they are, you must break away the ungodly soul ties so that you may see whatever, whatever and whoever they are. And the reason why I put it like that is because some people in your family are fully taken over by demonic entities. They are fully possessed. Some of them are partially possessed. So sometimes they seem cool and sometimes they seem like, okay, you got something else going on, right? So when you have those demonic entities taking over a family member, they are no longer your family member, whether you like it or not. I don't even consider them human anymore because they're fully taken over by a demonic entity. So that means that they have allowed that demonic entity to take over all their faculties. So, yeah, you might see your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister. However, a demon is not capable of loving you in return. A demon is not capable of doing anything righteous, right? They're not capable of that. And for us, we are so loving as Yah's people, we can't fully conceptualize the fact that they don't love us. They don't love us. And because their actions show you that they don't love you, but in your mind you still can't understand it because we're good-hearted people. We love everybody, but The truth is, if they are fully taken over or even partially taken over, they are incapable of love. So you don't need to be there anyway. So what you're no longer dealing with that family member, you're dealing with a demon. And you must look at them at that. And sometimes the reason why the Most High has you pull back is because when you pull back and you spin away and you're out of the situation, you can see it more clearly. And then you will realize, okay, they're dealing with a demonic entity. That's not my family member. That's a demon. So once you see that from far back, you know now through evidence that they're only here to kill, steal, and destroy, just like the enemy, because that's their God. That's who they work for. Okay? Just like we work for God, they work for the devil. Okay? So no matter how much you love them, you must cut ties should they insist on siding with evil. So it'd be one thing if they changed their ways, repented, and then let you help them, get on the right track. That's one thing. We don't have to cut them off. However, the ones who are perpetual, they're never going to change. They'll even tell you, I'll never change. They'll tell you that. I'll never change. And you be like, okay, and then you go on about your business. Okay, you let them let them make their own choices. If they keep siding with evil, then you have to remove yourself, because two individuals operating in two different spirits, they're gonna always clash. I think the scripture says it like this: you cannot serve two masters. You either love one or hate the other, or love the other and hate one. So it's always going to be a clash. And then it also says, how can two walk together except with the same spirit, right? So you need to be with like-minded people. So if you are serving the Most High, you're following the laws and commandments, you need to be around others that are doing that. And 9 times out of 10, especially if you're a chosen one, it's not going to be your family. So you're just going to have to deal with that. It is what it is. And I know some people are born into great families and they just don't understand, and they're just going to have to deal with it because they don't have to go through the obstacles that a chosen one has to go through and overcome. So they won't understand that, and it's not your job to explain. Your job is to go through it, overcome, learn how to work through it, and teach about your situation, testify, and be an example. That's your job. That's all you do. You don't do anything else. You don't try to convince anybody. You're not trying to make them a believer. It is what it is. Okay? So, remember, the demons don't love. They only mimic love. So if you have like a narcissistic parent, you'll see this a lot. They can mimic love. Like when you're doing what they want or you're providing something that they want from you, they give you a good job, pat on the back, kind of like a semblance of love, but it's not really love, because it always has some kind of condition to it. I'm only going to treat you this way as long as you do what I want. And usually what they want is against God's will. Okay? So you can't do it anyway. So they're always going to be at odds with you. So they mimic love, just like demons. They mimic love. Like when a person starts dealing with the demon's not harsh at first. But as they get the upper hand, they start to be harsh towards the person that's dealing with them, because a person would arrogantly think, "Oh my God, I have control. I can control this demonic entity." But like I said, you're dealing with an ancient being who's been on this plane way longer than you could ever imagine. Some of them were here when Christ was here, and you think that you can outsmart that being? Good luck. I don't think you can, but good luck, right? So they almost always get over on the person that's hiring them to do their bidding. So just know that, because next thing you know, it's going to be flip-flopped. All right, so they mimic love, and remember that chosen ones come through a bloodline, right? But demonic entities follow a bloodline. Once they have access, they follow and they look for whoever the Most High has chosen in that family to set the captives free, and they just attack them. They start 1, 2, 3 years old. They just attack them, so that they won't reach that potential and then possibly pull out the others in the family. So they're going to attack them regardless. It doesn't matter. You be so young and you be like, why does my aunt hate me so much? And you don't know why. Well, that's why. You did nothing to them. You don't even understand. But before you even understand or even know who you are, they're going to attack you over and over and over, right? Because they're trying to either destroy you before you reach your potential or eliminate you before you reach your potential. Because what they cannot afford you to do is save others in your family. So they're going to try to keep you isolated from everyone, and they're going to treat you like crap. They call it the black sheep, right? All right, so demons follow bloodlines. Also remember, some demons or some people are born bad. They're just not good people. All right? We tend to believe that everyone's born innocent and then they turn bad. Not necessarily. Some people are born bad. It is what it is. All right? So, you have to be strong enough to walk away from and overcome your family. If you are a chosen one and you're born into a chaotic family where there's like drug use, prostitution, alcoholism, all kinds of crap, right? You have to overcome those things, all right? And then testify on how you overcome to help bring others out of that situation. And 9 times out of 10, it won't be your family members. Just remember that. Your testimony will be for people you don't even know. That's why the Most High tells you to tell your story, even though no one in your family has came out of that. He's telling you to tell your story because there are other people going through the same things. One thing I notice about chosen ones and other chosen ones, when we tell our story, there's so many similarities of the situation. It may not be the exact same thing that we went through, but it's similarities to the story to where you know, yeah, they went through what I went through. They went through hell and back, right? So we it's a blueprint almost. And we have to go through those things so that I'm here on a live. I hate going live. If you know me, I don't like being on camera. I hate going live. However, I'm here on a live on a Monday night when I want to be chilling, minding my business, talking to total strangers. But somebody's going through this. They don't understand it. And it's something that I say just going to trigger something. And then they're going to be like, oh my God, that's what it is. And then now the Most High is going to use the Holy Spirit to lead them to information to help them get out or to help them move forward. Right? So that's how it works. So a lot of times your gifts, your spiritual abilities, all that stuff is not necessarily for your family. Now it's a bonus if it is, if it does help, but 9 times out of 10, it's not for them. And we spend a lot of our early walk trying to save our family, not realizing we're not here, we're not called to them. There's other people that will be able to benefit them more. Okay? All right, so sorry about that. I'm talking around because this is such a sensitive subject, and this is one of the most difficult soul ties, especially if it's like a parent or a brother or a cousin or somebody close to you. This is one of the most difficult soul ties that people don't talk about often. That is one of the most difficult to break because not only are you close to them, y'all share the same blood. That blood does 2 things. It ties them closer to you, so it gives them access to you. But if y'all have the same blood, the witchcraft is stronger. A lot of people don't realize that when you have the same blood running through your veins, and they do witchcraft on you, and you're not walking upright, and you're not protected, that witchcraft is stronger. It's stronger than what any stranger could do to you. That's why they have the saying that blood will hurt you more than anybody. And that's true. It's true physically and it's true spiritually. It's because of blood. Okay? Remember that. Everything's about bloodline. Everything's about blood. Life is in the blood. So the power is in the blood. Once they put the blood on whatever spell they're doing, it enhances it that much. And if y'all share the same blood, that's an issue. Okay? Anything. Sorry about that. So you have to be strong enough to walk away and overcome the family. All the obstacles, all the curses of the family, you have to denounce it. You have to walk away, overcome, repent, even if you're not the one that actually did the sin, you still repent on behalf of yourself and your children and the generations that come after you, and then you walk right. So once I completed it, it was a while ago, but once I completed it, the Most High started calling me and my sons. I have two sons. He started calling me the first generation. And I kept wondering why he kept saying that, the first generation. But he later explained is we are the first generation out of the cursed generation. We are the first generation walking in the blessing that the Most High intended for us in the first place. Right? So we are called the Most High calls us the first generation. All right. So I have overcome the obstacles and the stuff of my family bloodline. I had to go through a lot of stuff. But my sons now get to start on that foundation. And there's a lot of stuff they don't have to go through because I already went through it for us. Now they have to go through their own obstacles, but it won't be that. The hard part is already done. I had to sacrifice my time in my life to make sure that they had a better opportunity. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes focus. However, to the world, it looks like you either irresponsible, it looks like you don't care about, having riches and that. No, I'm over here literally fighting demons, like literally, like it's spiritual warfare from for real. Because not only did the Most High call me, I answered the call. And when I answered the call, the gates of hell come against you when you answer the call. Oh, you bold enough? Okay, let's see how strong you really are, right? Devil sends everything to you. Everything. I was betrayed over and over again. I saw demonic entities in people's faces, nightmares, dreams, attacks, paralysis. It was a lot of stuff. And you're constantly being attacked, constantly. And you almost have no one. Every once in a while, the Most High will send what I call a destiny helper, someone who's there for you to help you through a situation or to lead you to information that you need to go to the next level. But really, you're on your own for a long period of time until you complete the task. And once you do, now you're a kingdom living. And I called that once I finished the part of the spiritual warfare, it was 40 years. Remind you, I'm only 43, so I'm only 3 years out of completing that and kind of living what I call kingdom living, meaning I've done everything. I've passed every test. I've passed every obstacle. Now he gave me about 2 years of rest. And then this third year, I'm teaching, I'm helping, I'm healing. You know what I'm saying? I'm walking in my purpose without constantly being attacked. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not attacked, because I am. I'm attacked a lot. But it doesn't affect me as much as it used to. And the reason why, even though I was in covenant, and the reason why he had let me feel it a little bit of the pressure of like the witchcraft attacks, the spiritual attacks, psychic attacks, stuff like that, is because he had to teach me how to fight. What it feels like when this happens. That's what that means. This is what you do. That takes time. And to the people on the outside looking in, living normal lives, you look crazy to them. You look like you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You look cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Until you don't. Until you don't. When they finally see everything come together and the person you become, they're like, dang, they got it together. Like, they badass. I better not mess with them. Like, spiritually, they're badass. I better not mess with them. I'm a very short person, but my aura, or whatever you want to call it, my presence is very big. Spiritually, I have a lot of spiritual authority. So when I walk with confidence. I'm strong. I'm strong mentally. I'm strong physically, but I'm small in stature.